What's up, guys? Welcome to Fumble Fever. I'm Micah,
I'm Dylan.
and this is going to be an all college football podcast for you guys. So I hope you enjoy college football as much as we do because we're going to have a lot of fun today. I was scrolling on Twitter the other day, and when College Game Day announced that they were going to be at Ohio State and Nebraska, a lot of fans were very, very upset, to say the least. There was a lot of trolling. There was a lot of language that I can't use on the show. There was a lot of very unhappy people. So my question for you, Dylan, is do you think that the fans are actually right here? Do you think they made a mistake by going to this game, number 5, Ohio State at Nebraska?
I don't think they did. It's gonna be a great atmosphere like it is every week, but it probably won't be too close. But I think it's gonna be closer than what people would expect. I probably think about 10 points, but Ohio State's gonna win. But yes, they did make the right choice.
Okay, I'm gonna say, first of all, I disagree with you. First, I'll tell you that much right now. And the reason I'm gonna disagree with you is because of some of the stuff that you already know. You already know that I'm not very high on Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
I made that clear. Week 1, they were my upset special in actually in a podcast that we didn't air, one of the very first ones when I picked Colorado to win. And during that show, if you remember, I told you Nebraska's going to go 4-8, maybe even 5-7. You had them a lot higher, right? Somewhere around 8 games.
Yep, and that's my mistake.
And
That's the one thing I would take back.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the season's not over yet, but you still take that back. So you think it's going to be lower?
Mm-hmm. I'm
okay.
probably 6-6 now.
Okay.
Because I saw them play and they didn't look too good, but I still think this game's.
You still think this game's going to be close?
Yeah, because it's College Game Day being there, they're going to be more hyped for this game. So I think they're going to come out ready.
That's actually a fair point because I think that College Game Day purposely picked this game because of the fact that they were so high in Nebraska, because everyone was so high in Nebraska. They ended up putting them in the top 25 preseason, even though they were 4-8 a year ago. They can't really leave that hype train for themselves right now. They need this as pride, and I think personally that they chose this game because they kind of want or kind of hope that if they do come there, that Nebraska's going to play better, that the fan base is going to be hyped. It's always sold out in Nebraska. Don't have to worry about them being there, but more hype, a little bit more lit, if you will, and that.
Do you know if it's a night? Do you know if it's a night game or not?
I'm assuming because it's College Game Day too that it's probably a night game. It has to be at least 3:30 or later. There's no way they do a noon kickoff.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that they're thinking just by the fact that they're gonna be there that'll help make the game better. Also, I have to assume that if you pay attention to history tells you that Ohio State lets down on games like this, opponents that are lesser than them.
And fun little fact: Lee Corso's first head pick was Ohio State.
Yeah, that's right. He does love Ohio State, so any chance that Lee has to go to Ohio State, he's going to do it. So I fully understand the pick. I just think there was a better game perhaps in USC and Washington coming up that I think is going to be a heck of a game, and 2 ranked teams too, by the way. But the main reason here that I really am upset about seeing this for the most part is the fact that unlike you, who think it's going to be about a 10-point or so victory, I think Ohio State's going to blow them absolutely out of the water.
Oh, so you don't think they have a chance at all?
I honestly don't, because of the play that I've seen with Nebraska over the past few games, with the way that they handled Southern Alabama, the way that they struggled last week against Illinois, and lost to Colorado. I really don't see any way that they come close to putting up the type of numbers that Justin Fields and J.K. Dobbins at Ohio State, who both are making strides to becoming close to the Heisman near New York later on down the road, have put up phenomenal numbers there. I don't see Nebraska being able to hang with them.
It also has been against no good competition.
Either. That I'll give you that. It has been against no good competition, and the thing that I've seen different this year is, like I said earlier, in previous years with Ohio State, against no good competition, they play down. And this year, they've been playing up. They've been playing up. Ryan Day, new head coach over there, has done a great job. I think during the Urban Meyer years, for whatever reason, as good of a coach as he was, he didn't seem to be able to get them ready for the lesser games. Now, with College Game Day coming there, they might get their attention a little bit more and build that up enough so where it wouldn't be a letdown anyways. But there's just nothing in my mind that says that Ohio State would play this game close, at least not outside of maybe the first quarter.
So you think this can be a first quarter, then they get blown out after that?
Yeah, I honestly do, and I think my prediction of Ohio State meeting Wisconsin is going to continue to hold true because so far,
I think it's going to be close to the third quarter, then they're going to pull away.
You pull away and you get the 10 that you were talking about, which before the season started, I could have agreed with you 100%. I may have even thought that it could have been closer than 10, but the Nebraska has been surprisingly disappointing to me personally. And even last week, Maurice Washington, their running back, he was one of the top producers in the Big Ten running wise, but their opponent Illinois also was. So if you can't hold a team like Illinois to rushing less than like 100 yards or so, they had like 300 on them.
They definitely won't be able to.
There's no way they're going to stop J.K. Dobbins or even Justin Fields if he scrambles off and takes off. So there's absolutely no way Ohio State or Nebraska comes anywhere near close to winning this game. But if you want to talk about some games maybe that are going to be a lot closer, I think there's a game coming up early, Thursday night game that is between Navy and Memphis that should be a good game for our fans to watch, and I think it's what a lot of people are gonna. I'm glad they're gonna have the opportunity to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
That it's gonna be nationally televised, and the only game really on Thursday night. So, what are your feelings actually? Just going forward with Navy and Memphis, who you got?
I got Memphis. They just have too much of an offense for Navy. Even though Navy's offense is very hard to defend with that triple option, but I still feel like Memphis is gonna pull it away.
Yeah,
probably 7 points.
Yeah,
that's what I see.
Okay, the problem I have with this game, the only problem that I have with it is the fact that I don't know a lot about either of the team.
Yeah.
So I mean, Memphis, we got a good look at beating Ole Miss in week 1, which is a fairly solid win for them. Navy didn't really play much competition. They've actually only played 2 games instead of 3, and a bye week in week 2. Beat down on Holy Cross and then beat down also on East Carolina, who East Carolina used to be up at a higher level, but they're way down right now.
From where they were.
I have to agree with you. The fact that obviously, as we know, the triple option is hard to stop. Just
very
by
disciplined.
the fact, you got to be very disciplined on defense, and I don't know that Memphis has had that discipline over the years defensively. I think they've gotten somewhat better as time has went on, but it's going to be an interesting matchup just to see what happens, and I think it's kind of a coin flip for me. I don't know if it's as close for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I went back and forth between them. Like you said, your points with Memphis not really playing like triple option team or really having that sort of defense, like defensively. You know what I mean?
I got you. Absolutely.
But yeah, I still think Memphis is going to pull it away.
Okay, I think I'm going to go with Memphis too, in a coin flip type of game. And at the end of the day, I am glad to see that now this is actually a conference matchup in the AAC, which is rising the ranks as to what I believe to be cut above the rest of the non-Power 5 conferences. And possibly Memphis we could end up seeing later on in the AAC championship. I don't think Navy necessarily gets there, but
they're probably gonna play UCF in the AAC.
How disappointing, by the way, that UCF losing to Pittsburgh last week.
I mean, they beat somebody they're not supposed to every year though. Pittsburgh does.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about UCF. Well,
no.
Obviously they do, but yeah, Pittsburgh does pull that upset. But I'm just disappointed that it's it had to be against UCF.
So early, at least.
Yeah, at least so early, and especially because that was the only two Power 5 conferences teams that they had on their schedule, and we were pumping them up. Remember, we said all they got to do, you beat Stanford, you beat Pittsburgh, you're probably going to win the rest of your games, and you might actually have a shot at the playoffs. Their only legitimate shot at the playoffs
was winning out.
Was winning out, and now they lost, and it's very disappointing
Yeah, they're definitely not
for
making
Central Florida. But we've got actually,
and I don't even think they're going to be the non-Power 5 team to make it to the BCS Bowl.
I think it's Boise State.
I think it's going to be SMU.
SMU.
They're 4-0 right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you want to make that prediction right here? You think it's SMU?
Yeah, I think SMU is going to be the one that makes to one of the BCS bowls.
Okay, I'll make my prediction and say Boise State because I like what Bachmeier's doing over there. But you've got SMU and everybody.
They beat TCU last week.
Everybody heard. Well, that was a rivalry game, a pretty fierce rivalry game.
Yeah.
But I mean, anything could happen. And SMU might be somebody to watch for. I would like to see them get some wins, as disappointing as things have been for them over the past
30 years.
Yeah. It's been
ever
a
since
wild
the
ride.
death penalty, pretty much.
Oh, back in the 80s?
Yeah.
Are you taking it that far? It's been that bad since the 80s. Yeah.
I mean, they went to a bowl game like a few years ago.
Yeah. Eventually, you got to get past the level of just making it to a bowl game, right? So if they did do that, that would probably shock the world. I'd be excited to see that happen. I'm rooting for you to be right. I'm not usually rooting for you, but this is one of those times for sure. But we've definitely got a lot of games going on this week. A lot that aren't necessarily marquee matchups, but they're still going to be really good games. It's different than week 3. Week 3 when we had all these non-ranked versus ranked teams, but they really weren't close, good games. And there ended up being a lot of upsets, which was fun. It's always fun. But this week just has a different feel to it than that. And one of those such games is going to be going on Friday night. So we talked about Thursday. We're going to switch over to Friday night. Two teams that have been a little bit surprising this year. Arizona State versus number 15 Cal.
Yeah, I see Arizona State pulling up the upset against California this week. I just feel like their defense is just too good.
Is this your upset special?
Yeah, this is my upset special.
Okay. You've actually had, was that 2 weeks in a row now that your upset special was actually in the line of marquee games. That shows how confident that you've been. I think that this game's another toss-up for me, which is what I like to see, to be honest. I like having games that I have a hard time pondering over that could go either way. So I'm happy about that. My only upset, you said this is your upset special. The only thing that's upsetting to me is the fact that California's ranked so high. I understand that they're 3-0. It's 3 games now, right? Not 4.
And they're the only undefeated Pac-12 team right now too.
Which is sad to say the least. I think, you know how many times we've moved from who's it going to be that goes to the Pac-12 championship? Now do we actually have to start thinking about California? I don't think so, but they are the only undefeated team left. I think USC actually has a chance to get back there just because their one loss is to BYU, which it doesn't affect the Pac-12. So if they
and they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, and they are looking surprisingly good.
With their third-string quarterback.
Yeah, and we'll get to that game actually later on down the line. But going back to California, if I will, their game, as you said, against Ole Miss did not impress me enough to jump them all the way to 15. And I think part of that is just kind of an SEC bias, and I understand that without a doubt, especially this year, at least the SEC is the best conference. But that's by far a bias when they were at the bottom of the top 25 to move them up like 10 spots to 15 for barely beating Ole Miss. It was a great game.
And really, they shouldn't even won.
Yeah.
Because Ole Miss caught that touchdown pass, and they didn't review it.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, don't even get me started on some of the refs. They've been a lot worse in the NFL.
Actually, it would have took them into overtime, but so you never know what would have happened. But it's way closer than
too close for comfort for me, for sure. Yeah, and so between that and I know they got a good win over Washington, a 1-point win. We'll see how Washington fares. As we said later on, we're going to talk about Washington and USC, their game coming up. But I'm not sure exactly how to feel about California right now.
Mhm.
I need to see them beat Arizona State, and
Pretty
honestly,
handily.
yeah, I need to see them beat them a little bit more handedly before I can decidedly say that, hey, California is a team that actually deserves to be at the top 15.
Mhm.
If they beat Arizona State and it's a nice win,
Mhm.
then I'll say, okay, you can leave them there,
Jump on
and
the bandwagon.
I might start jumping that way. I'm not going
Mhm.
to jump fully. I never want to. I'm always fearful
Jumping on there completely.
on California's bandwagon because you
I mean,
honestly never know.
they really do have a really good defense, though. I like their defense a lot. From what I saw.
I think you like defense a lot in general.
Pretty much,
from
yeah.
what I've heard.
Uh-huh.
So
I mean, like I said before, defense wins championships. So
yeah,
and I'm gonna preach that forever, pretty much.
I'm fine with it. I mean, it's true. It's reigned true throughout. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how the season fares for California. But this is another game that not only if you wouldn't have took Arizona State as the upset, and if I wouldn't have took Arizona State to upset Michigan State earlier in the season, then I could have jumped on that Arizona State bandwagon because, as we've said plenty of times, we always love Herm Edwards and what he's doing. But I'm going to have to go with California as well. Or not as well because you picked Arizona State, but I'm going to have to go with California and disagree with you on that one. But if we can stay in the state of California, we can talk about the game that we were just talking about a second ago between USC Trojans and Washington. And that should be a fun one, a game that I think should have been College Game Day, as I said earlier. Any thoughts on that one? Who you got?
I got USC. They've been pretty impressive lately. They're especially their third string quarterback. I was very impressed with him last game.
It's funny that we're at the point where we can say that is a third string quarterback because it was unbelievable enough that Kadon Slavas was coming in there on second string, and if you remember, I remember thinking that their season was going to be pretty bad, that they might even lose to Stanford because air raid offense.
I think me and you picked Stanford.
I don't remember actually. To be honest, we had the film. Everyone out there knows, but I honestly don't remember. I remember thinking it was going to be a close game. I think I might have picked USC, but I didn't honestly know 100%. It was another one of those coin flip games. So it's incredible, and I watched that game, and to see him come in, and if you don't know his name Matt Fink for USC, third string quarterback. He did a great job. He did a really great job. Stepped into the moment, and it was a guy that they had been trying to keep from switching over in the transfer portal, and a guy that I think he's going to stay for a while now.
Yep, definitely. He's going to be the starting quarterback from now on, probably.
Yeah. Well, yeah, at least, I don't know. I'll have to update you on the injuries.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up now that they have two quarterbacks that are injured. I don't know where they would go.
I mean, if he continues doing what he's doing, they're not going to take him out.
Yeah, you think let's say that either Kadon Slavis or JT Daniels was to come back into the lineup and be available to play, but Matt Fink is playing the way that he's playing now, and he's been playing that way every week. Do you think they stick with Matt Fink, or do you think they put the other guy in?
Yeah, they're definitely going to stick with him. At least stay with the hot hand, pretty much. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I guess every coach has got a different mentality. I guess that's probably what you would do if you was a coach. I'd probably have to assess the situation. Yeah, and it's great that we have that type of mentality now in college football. To no matter who you are, no matter how far down the depth chart you are, that you can come right up and play. If you looked at, I was watching the Clemson game last week, and they played 5 quarterbacks, which is completely unheard of. It's something I've never seen before. So anybody could step up at any time the way that we recruit in this crazy high school recruiting farm that's going on, and it should be a fun one to watch. And as we said earlier, with USC, we've actually got a chance now. Like I said, if they go 11-1, they're in the Pac-12 championship. They win the Pac-12 championship, then they've actually got a shot. But Washington, interestingly enough, has that same opportunity.
Mhm.
Now Washington, maybe they do have a Pac-12 loss to California, but you flip the script. If Washington beats USC also has a loss, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a lot to work towards there. So the path's a little bit harder for Washington, but the same shot too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a top 20 matchup, so it should be a fun one. It should definitely be a fun one.
Oh yeah.
And if we can continue on here, as I'm looking at my list, we do have one a whole lot closer to home, and one that maybe not as many people will be looking forward to because of recent events, but one that they should be looking forward to because it should be a great game between Kentucky and South Carolina, who, by the way, is back at home. I know you have a lot of thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I got South Carolina on this one. I feel like Ryan Holinsky, he's gonna have a bounce back game.
Mm-hmm.
We're probably gonna win this one pretty handily. Probably about 17 points at home
Okay.
in front of a night crowd.
Last time you told me you was going to win was last week.
Uh-huh.
I just want to throw that out there,
Yeah.
and it was your upset special against Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
We saw how that went.
Yeah.
So you're basically hoping you have a bounce back week too, right?
Yeah. I'm almost 100% certain.
He's almost 100%. So I just want to. So what did you say it was? 17.
Yeah, probably 17 points.
17-point victory. Okay. I don't know if I can go that far. That's 17.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Gosh, I hope it's South Carolina say that you're right,
Mm-hmm.
because 1-3 now.
If they get to 1-4, he's Will Muschamp's definitely on the hot seat. I think he's already on the hot seat, but he's gonna be on his way out if he loses this one. I think.
Can I, if you don't mind, a quick soapbox, because Will Muschamp, for me, should have been on the hot seat. Should have never even been considered to be hired.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. If I'm being 100% honest right now, I think Will Muschamp was one of the worst coaching hires in South Carolina history. And I don't care who agrees with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who disagrees with me. I don't care.
I think the reason they brought him in is because he's a really good recruiter, but he just can't teach him, or he can't what's the word I'm looking for?
Mold them into a winning program.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I guess they're just hoping for him to pretty much learning from his past mistakes at Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that's what they were hoping for, but that's definitely not turning out to be.
I'm guessing hope is the only thing they're latching on to at the moment anyways. So they're going to have a win here against Kentucky, who, if we remember a couple of weeks ago, took Florida to the very end and looked okay in doing so. But
and then struggled against Mississippi State the next week.
That is also true. I think Ryan Holinsky, as you said, has a bounce back game, similar to how he had a bounce back half in their last game. So you saw him against Missouri in the opening first two quarters. Apparently, from what I've heard, his elbow was tweaking him. Is that something that you've heard as well? And apparently, they must have went into halftime and just shot him up right in the elbow real good, because he came out like a whole different person. He's got
first pass was a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly.
Which it was like a 3-yard pass to Brian Edwards too, but it's still a pretty good pass.
Yeah, you're talking about the one where he throws
slant.
Like a slant or a screen, something real quick, and Brian Edwards does the rest.
Yep.
That built his confidence up, which is major. You just got to get that first completion, and that's the biggest goal here, and that was what set Ryan Holinsky off to do what he does best. So he builds that consistency throughout the year. I'm not letting down off of him now. There's no reason to. I still think he's a great quarterback, and I think I'm going to give them the edge, although a lot closer than 17.
So you think probably like a field goal late?
Yeah, that
points.
sounds about right to me. I think there's a lot of these games that are this week.
And you got to think that it's a night game too.
Yeah.
And it's always crazy at Carolina at night.
They do get a little bit extra excited, if you will, at Williams-Brice for night games. I have seen a big difference in attendance and in just atmosphere.
I think it's sold out too.
Which is good. It's good that they're still supporting them, with the struggles that they've been having. And that's what I preach on and want to see the most from more of these college teams is no matter what, no matter if you're doing really bad, you got to go. You got to support your team.
Talking of that, did you see the Florida State fans or the stadium?
I've seen it be empty.
Yeah, it was pretty much empty against Louisville.
I think they've given up hope.
You think so?
I think so. I think they've been without hope for a while now, which I can't blame them.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
they're not getting any better.
No, they're definitely not getting better. But if speaking of Florida State, though, that reminds me of a game that's going on in the ACC, and it's a big one. Number 10, I believe it is. Yeah, 10 for Notre Dame taking on 18. Virginia is actually at Notre Dame. Notre Dame coming, of course, against pretty close, pretty tough fought loss that I don't think me and you saw.
Nope, we didn't.
Coming against Georgia, so they did a great job there. You got a win for that one?
Yeah, I got Notre Dame. I think they're going to pull this one off pretty handily, too.
Okay.
Against Virginia.
Okay, and the spread, by the way, is 11.5. Do they cover?
Yeah, they cover that.
Okay, so
they probably do 20, I think.
Okay. I have to say that I've got Notre Dame. I've still got my frustrations with Notre Dame's lack of talent. I think
Brian
Kelly's done a good job. Fair enough. To give him a little bit of praise with all the heat that he takes and deservedly takes because he's 1-17 now against top 5 programs. But he does a good job keeping them in games that they shouldn't be in. I think he's gonna. Jump in there.
Yeah, I was about to say he develops them pretty well. I think.
Yeah. So I do want to give Brian Kelly a little bit of slack in that area because he is capable coach enough of at least keeping a team that shouldn't be close. But I think Notre Dame's gonna struggle in this game against Virginia. I don't think Virginia's as great as people are originally were thinking.
Definitely not. They struggled against Old Dominion.
Old Dominion, which, by the way, if you're one of these Virginia teams, you got to stop playing Old Dominion, man. What are they doing?
I know. Okay? Last year, Virginia Tech lost to them. Yep. This year, Virginia almost lost to them.
Yep, and Virginia Tech struggled against them this year, and Virginia struggled against them this year. Old Dominion has told them over and over again, we are not scared of you top Virginia teams. You need to choose William and Mary. That's basically what they keep saying. I'm like, you got to do it because it's not happening.
And it was a crazy game last year against Virginia Tech.
And it was a crazy game this year against Virginia. That went down to the wire, tied for a long time, and then Virginia pulled away late, barely saved it, barely staying 4-0. But I guess that's all you really got to do. So you got to keep winning. If they get a game,
good teams win.
Good teams do find a way to win. Sometimes some people call it luck, but really, I mean, it's a strength.
It's a little bit of both. I think it's luck and you have to be good too.
Absolutely. So we'll see if some of the luck of the Irish can rub off onto Virginia this week. I think they keep it close. I think they keep it very close. But at the end of the day, I think I'm going to give the nod to Notre Dame just because of the struggles that I've seen with Virginia. They're eventually going to blow it, which, by the way, Notre Dame's probably going to win the rest of their games, and except for maybe USC. That one could be one to watch
That's a toss-up, too.
Moving forward. But one final game for you before we take off here, and that's Texas Tech and Oklahoma. A lot of scoring going on in that game, I think. Do you have any shot that Texas Tech gets an upset here?
No shot. Oklahoma is going to blow them out.
Yeah, absolutely no shot.
Oklahoma's defense is way better than last year's.
True.
So maybe last year Texas Tech had a chance, maybe, but not this year. Okay. Oklahoma's.
Yeah.
I see probably 50, maybe 17, 56-17.
Okay, I'm not going to go that high. I think this is the first actual test for Oklahoma, the first team that they're going to face that can actually score on them, even though, like you said, their defense is better.
First quarter is going to be close.
Okay.
I think Texas Tech's going to score first. Let me say that.
I'm actually going to make this a 3, maybe even 4-quarter game for me until Oklahoma eventually blows it out of the water, because I think Texas Tech can hang long enough to make people say, whoa, we got to watch this game, and then as soon as they turn to it, Oklahoma's all of a sudden up by like 17. You're like, okay, what happened? Kyler Murray happened.
Yep.
Is absolutely what happened.
Kyler Murray's last year. You mean?
I said Kyler Murray.
Yeah, you mean
That's.
Jalen
I
Hurts.
got him on my mind, I guess, because he was that phenomenal. Jalen Hurts. So they've had so many quarterbacks.
Yep. Won Heisman's.
It might be 3 in a row for Jalen Hurts to transfer.
I think
from
Joe
Alabama.
Burrow's going to win that one this year.
Joe Burrow from LSU. You think
Yep.
he's going to get the Heisman? I could see multiple people getting that Heisman. So really, to be honest, who knows? It could go either way. I'm not going to dispute that because I don't have an argument right now against it or for anyone. But should be a fun week, and fortunately, that's going to do it for our show today. We want to thank everyone for listening. The support has been absolutely phenomenal.
Yep.
It really has, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we do thank you a lot. If you're not already, you can follow us also on Twitter at Fumble Fever, and of course hit the like button and the subscribe button when you search us on YouTube. That's Fumble Fever on YouTube. This one will be podcast number 3. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.